it made me be like, maybe I should try meth, just see what it's like. You know?
5 years later, you're still trying to make your movie.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's weird. You'd think though a meth head would get his movie done faster. You know,
That's what they advertise, right?
this is a weed head sort of
Are
thing to
are
do with a
meth
movie.
addicts famous for staying on point and accomplishing things? Is that
Well, I just thought they'd be more like motivated. You know what I mean? Like,
constantly redoing it?
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
true.
like that.
That's
that
the
this is a
problem.
very meth. We got to burn it all down.
A lot of
Yeah.
musicians are on meth when they make their music.
Adderall,
Like-
baby.
Like who?
Lemmy from Motorhead is famous for being like on meth his entire life.
Damn,
And
that's a weird guy to be on meth.
but that's what Motorhead is like a reference to.
Oh, that's a meth fling.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You can make good art on meth. It can be done.
It's almost kind of done here.
Can't you make
Was-
good art on any drug? Is there a drug that's, I mean, PCP, I guess. You're probably not making, I guess there's probably performance artists that are on PCP. Is Marina Abramovich, was she on PCP? I'm going to say she was.
Oh yeah.
What do you have to be on? What do you
She's
think
a
these
CBD.
NFT artists
Yeah.
are on?
Yeah.
CBD
What are those guys
gummies.
on? Yeah.
They're high on pure talent, from near as I can tell.
Was the person that made this movie actually on meth? What was the movie?
All right.
Let's
What did we watch?
Yeah, I want you to.
We have to do an intro because we have 5 people on the show today. So we have our special guest from the Pink Smoke, Chris and John.
Yeah,
Hey guys,
Hi, guys.
Welcome.
Yeah.
And they were on our last episode the last episode they were on, we watched The Maddening with Burt Reynolds. So
that's another movie made by a like rich, crazy, or not? Maybe I don't know. Or he was like an addict or something like that, right?
well, definitely the son of a very famous
Danny
person.
Houston? Yeah,
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 yeah.
Similar.
yeah, so this movie is somewhat similar. It's a melodrama. It's a horror movie. It's The Evil Within. It's directed by Andrew Getty. This movie took 15 years to make, and
What, for
for real. And the director died before it ever came out.
so who finished it?
The producer.
Yeah,
He's also working as an editor on it.
Hero.
And it feels like he must have been the one who added all of the chintziest computer effects to it. That
No.
totally feels like post-producer maneuver.
Andrew Getty apparently was obsessed with doing the visual effects himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I was wondering what he was, what part of the movie he was like obsessed about, because you have obviously he's on meth. He's like obsessed with some part of it. But yeah, that
What-
makes sense because those are really packed with details and stuff.
What,
we needed-
what is this director's relationship to Balthazar Getty? Are they
he's his
cousins?
uncle.
He's his
Or no,
uncle.
they're cousins. Are they cousins? Is Balthazar Getty a grandson of J. Paul Getty?
I think he's great-grandson of J.
So then
Paul
he's his
Getty.
uncle. Yeah. It's very interesting. Balthazar Getty is not in this movie, or no, because some Getty heirs are actually like have status and like have accomplished things and have connections and could have probably worked on this, but it seems like no one wanted to be involved, or maybe he didn't want to involve them. But
And this is not the grandson who got kidnapped, right?
no, that was his cousin.
Okay.
So
So I
J.
was, I
Paul,
was thinking that as a sequel to All the Money in the World, Ridley Scott could do a making of this movie, like a
Yeah.
fictionalized version of this movie getting made.
yeah. So Andrew Getty's dad is Gordon Getty, who seems like a pretty ruthless guy. He apparently loaned his son $10 million over the course of his lifetime. And when he died, he like sued to make sure he got the money back. So
Oh, hell yeah.
That's dope.
yeah, so this movie, we need to put it like, we need to describe what this movie is. It's kind of like, I feel like it's Rain Man meets Phantasm, or it's like,
You
I
leave
don't know.
Phantasm out of this, sir.
well,
If
I'm trying to
anything,
think
it's
of,
was
like
getting a lot
D.
of,
Snyder's Strangeland meets Rain Man.
You
It's
know
getting a
what?
lot
In
of
terms of
Golem,
tone,
Golem
it-
energy.
What is
It
this
remind-
horror movie
Yeah,
trope
Smeagol.
of the mirror and the double? Like that has to be in a million horror movies. I can't. All I could think of was Tales from the Dark Side, and
Mirrors, the Aja film.
is that what happened? I never saw it.
Oculus.
it has like dark half kind of
Yes.
ideas about how there's an evil one. The tone of it actually reminded me of The Dark Backwards. Have you guys ever seen that about the stand-up comedian who has the arm growing out of his
What?
back? A similar sort of like
Famously
That's
bad
just
movie.
like Ryan.
Yeah.
yeah, sort of
Yeah,
like a fucking
I got an arm
mess,
growing out the
you
front.
know?
Saying you have like a huge dick.
No,
That's
it's like
cool.
an arm. It's like a small arm.
Oh shit.
Not
You got
even.
an
It's
elbow?
smaller than an average size wiener. It's still tiny. It's still growing.
Just say yeah.
You should be working with that talent.
Yeah.
Guy-
Like jerking somebody off with your dick.
It'd be cool if you like you were like doing stand up.
Your arm, just like
Oh yeah, like the way like the lady with the eye mask or whatever. It's like a hand. It's
Oh,
like, come
gross.
here, and it grabs the kid's dick. and starts.
What about just like smoke a cigarette
like
with your
that.
little arm?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cute.
that too. What do you have to like reach down? You have to bend down to your crotch to.
No, you
Take
could
a
be, like,
drag.
driving, and then you have a little arm that comes up and like. you
No,
can
but
puff
the
when you
arms. I'm
smoke.
saying the arms about like 6 inches.
Okay, I don't know.
These
what
are
you can do
more
there.
genuine meth addict ideas than the ones in the middle. I feel.
All right, so okay,
Telling you, man, you gotta smoke meth.
John, I love how you're dressed up in David Foster Wallace
Yeah.
cosplay.
Yeah,
What
got
are
my
you wearing a
DFW cosplay
Yeah.
going on.
I was gonna say Hulk Hogan. You kind of got a Hulk Hogan vibe going. That's cool.
Oh, that's sweet. I like
But
it.
yeah.
okay, so another big influence over this movie, apparently that the director talked about a lot, was Jacob's Ladder, because
Oh,
it's like a mind fuck. Like there was a thing in this movie started in 2002, and I feel like in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a big trend of like a movie with a twisted ending or a big like rug pull at the end, like Donnie Darko or like Fight Club or Memento. And it was like, I feel like this guy was like obsessed with making something like just crazy, you know, like with a K and a backwards E and
It was
two
pretty
E's.
wild. That's what this movie was, a roller coaster.
I mean,
I was
the-
all over the. I was up and down. I cried at one point. I was laughing the next minute. It was
some pretty
nuts.
funny parts.
You cried?
Oh my god, the bond between the brothers be absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. How much he sacrifices
Mm-hmm.
for a guy who's ultimately evil.
Oh yeah, okay. Give the
Brother
premise
did him dirty. Did him dirty.
because he
Yeah.
didn't do shit. He was never home. He just let his
Took care of
retarded
him.
brother. He did. He went to work. He left him at home all the time.
So we have like the movie shot in Andrew Getty's house, and he's just a rich guy. So the characters in the movie are rich. It's
Wait,
like,
yeah,
oh,
there's a dinosaur skeleton at like the front door. I was watching that. I was like, what the fuck? Rich people have dinosaur bones in their houses? Like that's
Nick Cage.
well,
if you knew how rich people lived,
I know.
it's all
yeah.
toys.
We have no idea.
Yeah,
like-
it's insane.
Bruce
has, like-
Wayne had the dinosaur and
My-
the giant coin. Right?
Yeah.
My
Christ
favorite
blood
part
or
of the rich person house scene is when they have the outside valet parking. It's clearly just part of his house. They're trying to pretend as a restaurant. That's my
Yeah.
favorite part of it, where they just have a sign that says valet and like a cheap fake building signage. But the door behind you can see them opens to like it's like a stairwell going down a hillside. It's a very strange idea to have this. This will be our restaurant, this gravel driveway of my house.
They also have a weird line where they say like he's trying to one of the successful brothers trying to sell the house, and he says this is a holiday town, but it's clearly LA. You're just in the Hollywood
Yeah.
Hills. There's no confusion of like it being anywhere else. But
Even
he
with
can't
its
sell the
demented Chuck E. Cheese restaurant. That didn't fool you.
Oh yeah, that was cool. I've been to that.
that
restaurant.
was It's like a weird nautical themed. It was like had some big SpongeBob energy.
Yes,
Yeah.
very true.
And it's like a special needs guy's favorite place, of course. That's what the goal was. Like, let's make this a dream restaurant of a guy who's
Adam, remember for like your
Yeah.
birthday, maybe 6 years ago, we went to literally the
Laser
exact same
tag.
place
We went to
with laser tag.
And we also went to medieval times.
there were no animatronics.
Well, I was going to
Just
say, William,
children, just lots of
describe the
children.
premise of the movie, and if
Okay,
you
I'll-
just like listen to it, it's Adam's life. It's
Well,
been
it's-
Adam's.
So we got
Whitney's
two
the brother.
brothers. We got
My wife.
we got the Rain Man situation of Mice and Men. We got, you know, the mentally challenged brother, little brother, and then, well, I guess it's more like Rain Man. It's just like, it's basically Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
They live together in a big house. Neither of them seems to work. Neither of them seem to do anything. They never talk about their money. But the younger brother, the main character, is haunted by nightmares that he seems to have the same nightmare over and over again involving Michael Berryman from Hills Have
He
Eyes.
looked familiar.
Oh, right. Yeah, nice.
Weird Science. He's haunting him, and he then drives him to kill. And when they make that turn for him to start killing people, it's handled in a very flippant manner. But
Yeah.
the catalyst for all this
What's
is
up?
when the younger brother has his bedroom, which is filled with toys and a giant hamster habit trail. His older brother moves in a giant mirror and says, like, this is a great looking mirror. We got to put this mirror in the house. I love this mirror, yada, yada, yada. And then the little, and
Gotta
like the
go in
younger
the
brothers.
center of your bedroom.
Yes.
The straight.
Also,
then-
he has this whole thing like, but it's only for a week. The
Yeah.
mirror only goes up for a week. Don't worry. Maybe you'll like it and want to keep it.
Yeah.
Think of all
gonna-
those times in your life you've had to store a giant mirror in your brother's room for 1 week.
Yeah.
I actually have a giant right here in the background that is a big mirror that I'm storing in my room, and it's actually in the center of my room.
Ryan, don't
So,
go
Oh
crazy.
shit. Oh no. I've been talking to it a lot.
yeah.
You've already
So,
been unzipped and got Michael Berryman in your body.
so the
I
younger,
wish.
Yeah.
the younger brother, the actor is played by Fred Kohler, and he was the biggest thing he was in for me anyway was in Oz, the 3rd season. He played J.K. Simmons' son, who got
Raped?
had a whole season arc. Yeah,
Assuming because it's Oz.
J.K. Simmons ended up killing his own child
Hmm.
at the end of the season. But yeah. So once the mirror is moved
Because of a
into his,
mirror?
no,
No
it was
mirror
all a
was involved.
trick.
Okay.
Involved.
It's a really
It was all
funny
a
thing to
trick.
do to put a mirror in a retarded guy's room. That's just like a giant mirror in the middle of it. Be like, it's got to stay here. How could he
I don't-
not go insane or like freak the fuck out about it?
I think anybody would.
I know. Yeah. Just a good brother move.
I saw he was one of the kids from Mr. Mom.
Yes.
So I just kind of Google imaged him, and it's just a still of him like sitting in the bathtub, and everyone else is doing something, but he's looking like directly at the camera,
Whoa.
and it looks creepy, like he does in
That's
this
chilling.
movie,
Yeah.
but as a
That's-
5-year-old or whatever.
Yeah, he was a child actor. He's in a bunch of crap. But yeah, once the mirror is in his room, he then starts talking to his mirrored reflection, and then you have endless scenes, like too many scenes of him talking like a scared, mentally challenged guy, and then the camera panning slowly to the other side of the mirror, and then him being like a confident evil guy.
Yeah.
And
Who's
it
like,
just-
who's of normal intelligence.
But not
yeah.
always.
Yeah.
But he wasn't always. For like the first half, he was still just like mentally handicapped in both the reflection and the thing.
I
then
know what you mean. I think
the demon was getting stronger. Is that what that's supposed to mean?
Yeah, if you try to
Interesting.
break down what, like,
I just think it was
who's
a real
who in
heady
each scene-
movie.
You got to get in like. The
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot more there. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Got to
basically,
do
it's
meth if you want to. If you're gonna watch this movie, you got to do meth to understand it.
The initial stuff was kind of confusing because Berryman shows up and is fucking with him long before the mirror shows up, so I didn't know if
Yeah.
the
Who's that
mirror was
guy?
haunted or
Well, yeah,
He was
who is
all-
the
Yeah,
who is the Berryman guy? Like, what is he, a demon or like?
he's like a sleep paralysis demon. Or wait, no,
Right,
he
yeah,
says
no,
he's
yeah, it does look
Legion,
like
right? He's
they always say
like
that. I don't get
some
really what it means.
infamous demon or
Well, it's
something.
not
Demons
answer.
always say that, and I don't understand.
It's from the Bible.
Yeah, I know, but you know,
You
it's
haven't
like
read it?
front to back, baby. Just don't understand any of it.
So
I
he's
did
the
read
devil.
the Bible at one, or tried to read.
So
through
as
the
someone
Bible.
who knows what Legion is, does this make any sense? Do you think Andrew Getty has read the Bible or knows what Legion means, or is just
It's
It's
not
from The
really.
Exorcist,
It's not
probably.
really explained in the Bible. It's just meant. The word legion does not actually translate as like an army legion. It means more like there's a bunch of us inside of this person. So the demon says, "I am legion. I am many, many people." is
Like
what
we
it
are the
means.
99% kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Only evil.
Yeah,
cool
we
if
are.
Occupy Wall Street was saying we are
Youth of the
Legion.
nation. We are Legion.
Yeah.
But it also seems to be
POD.
it also seems to be their name, if I'm remembering correctly. Like my name is Jeff, and that also happens to mean there's a billion of us.
Right, because
That's what
it's
Jeff
an
stands for.
exorcism. It's an exorcism scene in the Bible, right? Because he's literally possessed by all of these evil spirits at the same time, and
Yeah.
possibly does the same evil, good talking to the mirror from like Willem Dafoe from Spider-Man.
Mhm.
That he does.
Oh,
in this
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, it's very kind of Smeagol-y. There's
Mm.
that one scene where he's trying to draw a picture, like it's like a nice picture about the girl that at the ice cream shop that he likes, and his evil mirror version. He's like sitting by the mirror doing it. And his evil mirror version is like being like, and there's broken glass, and I throw the girl on the thing,
Yeah.
and then the good guy's like, but I put a pillow down and save her, and then the evil guy's like, no, and he's like trying to draw a
Like
picture, but
broken
it's fucking
glass
evil.
on the pillow?
Yeah.
I like this shot of him just laying on the floor, and he's just
Yeah.
holding the mirror above him, and he's just like
Rotating
catatonically
it.
reciting his lines, and you can tell like they are just spending weeks shooting these mirror scenes in like the weirdest way possible.
It would be scary if you were trying to like draw a picture next to a mirror and you're just like a normal picture, like Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life or something like that, and your mirror
why-
reflection starts like keeps trying to like turn it to like hentai, something like that.
Why do you have your hand on your chin and you're looking out the window like that while you say that?
Sorry. Never mind.
That would be pretty
Reflective.
scary,
That'd be pretty scary. That's all I wanted to say.
but then you'd have to draw it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this movie, the reason why this movie is interesting is because the director was, a Getty heir. His grandfather was a billionaire, and this guy, Andrew Getty, spent his like entire fortune making this movie while also doing crystal meth and coke for 15 years. And one thing I learned is they shot this movie 3 times. So the shooting took 5 years. Basically, they started off with Fred Kohler was in each of the 3 versions. So was Michael Berryman and Kim Darby. The first time they shot for like 2.5 months, and then it just fell apart, and then they stopped. And then like a year and a half later, they reshot everything again, and then scrapped that. Although apparently there are shots of Fred Kohler talking in the mirror and stuff that are from the different shoots. But then the third shoot was after 5 years, and that's where Dina Myers comes in. And what's the other? Who's Powder? Sean Patrick Flannery.
Oh yeah, he's
John.
Powder. Yeah, damn.
Yes.
Who was that in this?
That's the brother who's very angry and is always frustrated.
And the young
But-
Indiana Jones, right?
Handsome guy.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, damn. What a career.
So I thought the retarded brother was like, I thought that actor was actually like
Mentally challenged.
special needs. Yeah. Until
And then he was like
changed
really
his
good
voice.
as like an actor.
I thought it was
I
just
don't know.
like I thought it was just like passing or whatever. I don't think
Yeah.
we're probably saying the wrong things.
Well, we
here.
have to be. Here's the thing, though. Like the big spoiler,
but
the
it
big reveal
totally surprised me.
is that he's not mentally challenged. It's that he fell down the stairs and got
Yeah.
brain damage.
There was like 3, so he was like he was a prodigy, he was a genius, He was a prodigy genius, fell down, got punched all the way down the stairs,
by his brother,
and
right?
then
Like Rain
became
Man, kind of
mentally ill, and then became
like a
a
childhood trauma
prodigy
thing.
again.
When
Is he a
became
prodigy
evil,
because he made a giant habit trail for his hamsters? He has a giant room
No, after
size.
he made a giant puppet show out of like 15 human beings,
yeah, that felt like a pretty high budget.
and
for, like,
he put
special
on a
needs
good
guy.
show, dude. It was a
Yeah.
good. He performed.
This is a real Mr. Holland's Opus type of
Yeah,
feel-good movie.
yeah. Is that's where you cried, Ryan? I'm guessing.
My favorite
Oh
scene
my
is
God,
when
I was I was clapping.
It's just like he's achieving his dream, and like the show's going on, like show's
Well,
going
this-
off well.
before that, when he learns about animatronics, he's at like a Chuck E. Cheese, and it's clearly shot in the house basement, but like they're at a fancy Chuck E. Cheese restaurant. Apparently, Andrew Getty made all the puppets himself. So there's like
Well, yeah.
multiple.
What, in like 5
This
seconds?
is what I don't understand about this movie is it's got to be
Sweat.
cheaper to film at a Chuck E. Cheese for one day
course,
than to make all that shit.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, that's really funny.
And it looks terrible. It can't be.
He made
It
them.
just can't be overstated how bad it looks when it first cuts to like the main, like, and it's clearly supposed to be like the Rock of Fire explosion from Showbiz
Right.
Pizza. The main, like singing ape. It looks like when you peel the skin off of an animatronic. It looks like demonically deranged.
Yeah, like melted.
I
version of a
I
thing.
like that. Yeah, I thought it was pretty
Yeah.
creepy.
But you got to think of it again, like you got to look at it through the eyes of like a meth guy. If you were on meth, you'd be looking at that.
No, I think so.
Well,
I think that's
I,
good.
I think what he
Yeah.
was saying in that scene is that is how people with mental disabilities perceive Chuck E. Cheese. You got to think it's like we're all getting this in the point
Well,
of view.
okay, I
of,
think Ryan brings up
like
something
it's like an
that's- I
Adam's
wanna-
day to day.
That's kind of interesting. Is that I think Andrew
I don't,
Getty.
I don't
I-
know, man. I've been on drugs before. That's not what Showbiz Pizza is like when you're fucking whacked out on
You've
drugs.
been on drugs at Showbiz Pizza.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
A lot of birthday parties.
To the bottom of the
A lot
ball
of
pit.
It's the 80s, you pull the Coke out on the right in the pizza tray. But
Yeah.
Andrew Getty is both of these guys. He's the man child, and he's also the rich guy who dates girls and doesn't want to get married and has no job and just like wanders around his house like and does nothing all day. Like
That's what I thought the
He's-
twist was going to be. That it was just
That
one
they're-
person.
Little Fight Club twist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would have made
Every
sense.
movie could potentially have the Fight Club twist. though.
Adina Meyer sees both of them all
None,
the time.
none of it
Yeah,
made sense.
That's true. Damn.
So
I
they
just
just started.
like that he wore a full suit at the picnic in the beginning. When they're out at the
Yeah,
picnic,
yeah.
he's wearing full suit and tie. And then he talks about something being inappropriate for a picnic. And I'm
Ice
like,
cream.
"You're
Oh,
wearing
ice
a-
cream.
yeah.
You're wearing a fucking suit.
But that the thing that brother says all the time, which is like ice cream's inappropriate. We need a mirror, you need like new furniture. I feel like these are things that like his parents would tell him, like,
Yeah.
get rid of that dinosaur, like get a
Get rid
real
of those
job.
dinosaurs.
Stop
Yeah.
making stupid movies with puppets. Like we can get you a
Yeah.
job. You're a millionaire. We have connections. Like you want to work at the museum or like you want to work in the
You want to work
do
at
something-
the museum?
the Getty Museum? Like, do you want to work in charity? Like we have
You can work at the museum. There's a lot of bones there. You can see there's so many bones.
But this guy made art. That's what's cool is that he made a movie, didn't even finish it, died, and then the world got to watch it afterwards. And I think
Should've
that's
just
like,
gotten his shit together, asked out the ice cream parlor girl, and everything would have been okay. But he knew that he was fucked the whole time.
well, he's like Batman, but in real life. This is what Batman would do. Batman would not be a superhero. He would just be on drugs and he would just make a bunch of crap that didn't work
Yeah.
and die in the process.
And
I admire that.
Robin would be like his retarded younger brother, who's just like his contraptions are working.
Who's smarter
The
than
little-
him?
Little gadgets he's making, they're working. It just so happens to be human puppets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just giving people shunts.
Yeah, this movie has like weird writing that is like interesting because it's so weird, but it's like not good. But it also like it makes the movie, it feels like you're seeing like some like you could like analyze the movie and figure out what's up with this guy. Like this specific,
Well, it's like
you know.
it's like the brother is his main storyline is he's going on all these dates with Dina Meyer. She wants to get married. He's afraid to commit. And it's like, why is this in this movie? This is not like a horror movie. This isn't like an interesting plot
Commitment's
for a
scary,
movie.
dude.
There's no like MacGuffin. There's no like tension in this, but it's like we're watching. It's like I feel like he wrote his own life into it. Like he never married. He was dating women. You know, he was always working on these movies, and he just loved to party and like do drugs.
Couldn't settle down. Yeah.
There's a great photo of the director.
Yeah,
If you
nice
Google
girl.
him partying with a gun and is like wearing a suit and tie, like in a mansion. And it's
So
like,
yeah, and he's got a little skeleton.
Oh yeah, I see it. It's cool. It's really cool.
but yeah, back to what Chris was saying about him wasting money, like making animatronics. He could have just rented animatronics. He could have just shot at a restaurant. One thing he did that was really expensive and like a waste of time was he color corrected all of his footage before editing the movie, which is a giant waste of time and also a terrible idea because when you color correct footage, you want to like make the edit better. So if the footage is already color corrected and then you do the edit, you might then have to recolor time.
Right.
Again.
Isn't the huge point of it just to make shots that are unconnected to each other look like they're
Yes.
taking place at the same time and place?
That's like the number one job of a cinematographer is to make sure the time of day matches in a scene shot, you know, over the course of many days, etc. So the other thing I heard is that to save money, he would eat cereal for months at a time and nothing else. He would just eat.
To save money, but he's like a billionaire.
But he's trying to save money, Ryan.
So he just ate cereal.
So he would waste money on the puppets, but then he would just eat cereal. And then Fred Kohler in this podcast interview from this guy named Brain Vomit on YouTube, which you got to check out. He said Andrew Getty would sit at his kitchen table, chain smoke cigarettes all day, and he would be surrounded by computer monitors. And that's how he directed the movie. And he had a God mic. And so he would like speak into a microphone, and then people in the other side of the house would hear his direction because
That's
all the
cool.
rooms would be filled with camera equipment and a crew.
Yeah.
That's kind of a
Cool.
Coppola approach during his like really megalomaniacal period of the early 80s where he would just be up in a booth above everybody else shouting into a microphone and no one would actually see him on the set.
I like that.
Like
Like
one
Ed
from the Heart
Harrison.
era.
Truman Show.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is another Batman connection. That's pretty much what Batman does. He sits in a cave and just looks at all these different screens.
You're
But if you
selling
just
me on
did
this.
math,
This is basically a Batman movie.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, if we had
He
the
was on
making
that,
of
he'd
the
have a lot more
movie,
screens.
the making of the movie is a Batman movie. The movie is
Well, the movie's every movie's a Batman movie. I think we figured that out.
How so?
We got Two-Face in this one.
Mm.
all right.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
That's
You
it.
got
That's
Yeah,
it.
I'm done.
Old. There's some riddles. Wasn't there a riddle?
Yeah, I guess you're like, what's going on? What's up with this guy? It's kind of a riddle.
No, he
Yeah.
literally had he had a card that said to the Batman, showtime in 10. And then he had to follow the string all the way downstairs.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Ryan.
A lot of frozen corpses. That's a Batman thing, right?
It's
Oh,
a Batman thing.
okay.
The
So
skeleton?
the frozen
The
corpses
dino
I have to bring
skeleton?
up. So one thing in this podcast interview, Fred Kohler says like, oh, Andrew Getty would always only do things the hard way. He never took it the easy way out. But in
I thought you were going to
There's
say kept a lot of frozen corpses in his basement.
well, no, but the ice, there's these corpses lying in an ice chest, and he has fake ice cubes that look horrible.
They look
That's
so
a-
fake.
Just get some ice from
Just
like,
get regular ice. Yeah.
just get bags of ice. Like,
Like $2 ice.
but no, he has to make fake ice cubes that look like shiny little plastic bits.
It's meth logic. It makes sense in meth logic. You know?
Well, then you can reuse the ice for, all the other scenes in the movie that had ice. Do you remember?
That's true.
All the
Freeze up-
cocktails.
Freeze up the
All
ice
those
for the ice scenes. Yeah.
He was probably thinking about it if he needed to film it a fourth and fifth time to have the ice still there.
Yeah,
for it.
that's.
I
wonder where all
just
this
sat
stuff
around
went.
waiting for the next production to get started.
Dude,
Okay,
yeah.
Ice
Go ahead,
continuity.
Will.
One thing Fred Kohler said is that scene in there's one scene where he opens the door in the house and then he just ends up in a mirror room and the entire room is filled with mirrors,
It's pretty freaky.
kind of like that Enter the Dragon ending scene.
Mhm,
Lady from
Yeah.
Shanghai.
mhm.
Whatever. Orson Welles.
I mean,
The
I'm
guy who
sure lots
directed-
of guys have had ideas to put like a bunch of mirrors in a room. You know what I mean?
But he said that was extremely scary to shoot because it was on like a grate and the whole thing was shaking when you like took a step. Like that whole
It looked like it was about to fall apart.
Can you fucking imagine just being in this rich Getty Airs fucking fake mirror room built on like a rickety grate and making this idiotic fucking movie? Can you
Three
just
times?
imagine being that
Having
guy?
to be mentally
3
challenged
times,
3
yeah.
times.
Okay, so that's another thing I want to bring up. Like
You're
when
gonna
Fred-
get William. You're gonna get on the rickety grate right now. Is what you're gonna do.
And there's like a room next door that
And
has
if
a bunch of
things,
mirrors
if
already.
things go
Directed
haywire,
from the
there'll
mansion.
definitely be repercussions for me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm making sure the grate is very functional because I'm a rich guy, so things can't go wrong for me.
Yes.
So I'll be very careful. Just get on the grate and do it.
Just get on the
you're
grade.
just eating Fruit Loops all day, not feeling very good.
I
But,
feel like he was eating like
It's a great suggestion.
expensive cereal. Don't you feel like he's like, I'm saving on cereal,
No
and then he was
way.
eating Kashi and some
No.
like $18 cereal and being like,
No,
I'm
he's a
saving
man
so much
child
money.
through and through.
Yeah, but
But-
look at how that house is filled up with the
Yes.
stuff. It's still the bed is like an $18,000 bed. You know what I mean? Like that he can be a man
that
child,
bed
but he's
looks
not
so
sleeping
comfortable.
Well, he's
Oh
both
my
in a
characters.
race car bed. He's
He might
living
be.
the rich life. He just doesn't know any other way.
He actually,
Nobody-
I heard he actually got
he's-
buried in a race car bed.
He's never seen a
Damn.
Fruit Loop in
That's
his
rich.
fucking life because he's never been to a grocery store in his life. Because
Yeah, but
somebody
he's
buys his
but he's a
grocery
meth
for
head
him.
though.
He
Yeah,
gets
but
homemade. He gets like the Fruit Loops made special.
The
for
off
him.
no,
Fine, he
gets
was
the
eating
off-
on site.
off-brand.
He was eating like
Custom made Fruit Loops.
There's
Yeah.
somebody bringing him his shit, and he
Yeah, like-
never. He's not going to the grocery store. A Getty Air has never
No.
once
He's
set
just on
foot
Pink
in
Dot.
a 7-Eleven.
They could never. Yeah.
He's
He
not
goes
on
to-
Pink Dot. Somebody who fucking
He goes
works
to
for him who's
Erewhon.
on his
Dude,
payroll.
this cereal
just-
thing
yeah.
really got you worked up.
Well, it's
You know,
just,
He's just
I
a big
think that you
cereal
have
guy.
too much of a vision of how rich people live, and it's not like you at all as a regular meth addict.
That's how
so
I
you're saying
live.
he's
Degenerates.
eating
Chris just feels like
Fancy
he's the
Whole
cereal. Like
Foods.
cereal's like his thing, and he doesn't want it like some fucking.
Well, maybe
rich
he's
kid
like
to
on
be
a-
like, oh, I like cereal. You know, it's like fuck you. You don't know.
I think he's stranger than a regular meth addict. I think the way he lives is stranger.
Maybe.
If you just reduce him to a trailer park guy, it's not half as interesting.
well.
We're just
Did
out
you
of
read
touch.
about
So
the
he,
Zillow?
he asks the butler for some cereal and he brings him faux gras and tells him it's foie gras or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, thank you
Exactly.
very much. I love cereal. You're
Did
like,
you read about the
"Oh,
Zillow
God,
guy,
that's
or not the
cereal."
Zillow, the Zappos, the Zappos founder who was like made a fortune and then died in his house because he was
Yeah.
denying himself oxygen. He would do a thing where he would sit in a room. and burp.
Autoerotically?
Coolest way
No,
to
he
go.
just was. He just like had mental problems and like was an obsessive and like killed himself by
Oh, I
accident.
see. Oh.
Or
I see.
didn't
he-
you read about Chrissy Teigen on fucking Instagram talking about how her mom thought earbuds were disposable and she was buying her like a new pair every 3 or 4 days because her mom thought they were something you're supposed to throw in the trash. Like that's
relatable.
how these people fucking live, you know.
Here's how
And
I
she
live.
put it on Instagram like an adorable anecdote. That's how delusional it is. Like she didn't even know what's happening is appalling, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, he just threw away the movie and started over. You know, he's like he
Built
might
his
as well-
own fucking octopuses, drum playing octopus.
Yeah, that thing was. So how did he do the practical effects for the corpses, like the puppet corpse?
They're just actors, just pretending.
She just put something in her mouth that looks like a, because you can see like his little finger coming out of her mouth.
Okay, so wait, there's one thing I wanted to bring up. when Fred Kohler started this movie, he was 24, and by the time it was released, he was 39. And it's like a very weird thing to imagine that much of your life being like having this like background project going on and having this relationship with this like.
That's his Harry Potter. Like,
This is
It's his
he
boyhood.
grew up on this. He grew up on the set. Yeah.
But like, it's just this terrible movie and this bizarre relationship he had with this rich guy. Just like probably got like late night phone calls and how's it going, man? Do you guys, are we looking good?
Big things. This is going to do big things for us.
At the end of it just being this kind of unending Marilyn Manson music video thing that's just I agree. I do agree that some of the normal scenes are more interesting just because there seems to be like a complete tone. Well, it's just a complete tone. Well, just the complete tone deafness of some of them, like how they're eating all the time, how they're constantly having meals. And like you said, like the parking lot just being the front of the house and it clearly being LA and not
like
a small town.
It's just
trying to get away with
like
this stuff.
it's a student film.
Yes.
That's my only reaction to this is it's a student film. Actually, like
a $6
2
million
summers
student
ago,
film.
yeah, I was hired by this lady to write a screenplay for her. And the whole time when you're hired by these like rich, crazy people is you're just trying not to make this exact movie because this is what their ideas are like. It's either something totally nonsensical like, and then maybe she crawls into the mirror and the mirror is a fish's mouth, right? Or like whatever.
Oh, that actually sounds
awesome.
Hi, dude.
Yeah,
but tell us more about that.
But
You're good.
But then
You're
all
good.
of the other scenes. But then all of the other scenes are
what's
like,
next?
and then they're having lunch, and they're talking about how much how they need to buy a new carpet. Why are they talking about I buy a new carpet? Because I just bought a new carpet, you know. And that's literally all you're trying to do is not make this exact fucking movie.
Well, they want it to be relatable, you know. That like for people who bought just bought carpets and stuff. Who doesn't? Who among us?
It had a haunted
carpet
carpet instead of a mirror.
Yeah, yeah.
The only note I wrote for this movie was "Who's Chuck?" Because there's one scene where he runs into a guy wearing a "fuck you" t-shirt.
Yeah, this guy's
talking
cool.
about an audiobook mix-up, and the literal line is,
that dude is tight.
Parting of the Sea was one thing, but I wasn't a true believer until this bookstore fuck up. And you're like, what is going on? And he says, these are Chuck's audiobooks. And you're like, who is Chuck? What's going on?
It was just his friend, right? Or what? Who was Chuck?
I guess.
It's very much like The Room. It's a lot of just bad side characters.
Just badness.
Pointless
it's
conversations,
kind of like if
bad
the room
drama
was like,
class.
Yeah, it's kind of like if the room. I also feel like I was talking to my friend about Lost Highway recently, so I was kind of thinking about that movie during it. Kind of has like that weird lady who's kind of like Robert Blake. Remember
Kim Darby?
Kim Darby?
Yeah,
the child.
The short hair lady with
the child
glasses.
services lady.
Yes,
in that insane
that
scene with
weird.
the mirrors transitioning back and forth for no reason.
Teen Wolf too.
Maddie Ross in the original True Grit for people who don't know.
Oh wow, and yeah, she's in Teen Wolf too. She's
Teen Wolf or Teen Wolf 2?
Teen Wolf 2.
Teen Wolf 2.
Okay.
Teen Wolf 2 or Teen Wolf T-O-O?
Jesus Christ. This is why the movie bombed. Like
Teen Wolf or pre-Teen Wolf?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
That's it. That's all I got with that.
And poor Matt McGrory showing up in this is his last movie. He died like a year. He died like 2003, and then this movie comes out in 2017. The last thing we see is him
dies again,
screaming at somebody.
He has a great
for
scene, right?
He's
made fun of for his physical,
but he's good in that scene. That scene actually has something happening in it.
Which one? Who's this?
The what
the
he's
guy
like, you ruined my day. Yeah.
Oh.
But that's kind of like that living in oblivion scene. It's just that same thing of like, oh, you think I'm a freak, right? Like you think.
Yeah. This movie,
like, yeah, you
David
are, dude.
Lynch.
You're like 90 feet tall. Like you are a freak. Like no disrespect.
That guy, yeah. I googled Matt McGorry and it's some guy, like some hunky guy who's like not wearing a shirt. So I'm like,
one man's hunk is another man's freak.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's Adam looking in the mirror. He doesn't even know. See, he's how he perceives the world differently. Goes to Chuck E. Cheese and it looks like it's the world's melting.
There's another great thing I found out is that Fred Kohler said they shot a whole scene with light bulbs in their mouth and he was trying to reproduce the look of an inverted photograph. And
What?
he said for like 5 days, they were like they had black painted faces with light bulbs in their mouth, and they were doing a choreographed dance scene. And then all these people kept telling Andrew Getty, like, be easier if you just shot it like normal and then inverted the color in post. And he was like, no, we're doing it like manually. We're manually making it an inverted world.
I mean, it's
What a
annoying when you're trying to
nightmare.
make a movie and nobody trusts your vision. You know,
Jesus.
you have to be
That's
fucking
true.
explaining your genius to the peons.
Yeah, but it's a
Oh.
fool me once, fool me twice type situation. He's on his third try making this movie.
That's true.
Like, start listening to people. Like, get a friend to be like, no, don't do that.
No shortcuts, just the hard way.
Just the hard way. Work harder, not smarter. So did the crew get paid a lot? Like, why did people stick around?
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
they got
Do you-
like,
Can you ask him?
I
for
don't know
me?
anything that detailed, but I heard there was like one shoot where the crew unionized and that like shut everything down. They got
Ooh,
upset.
damn. Just the crew of this movie unionized against Andrew Getty.
Yeah, they
That's awesome.
started a Getty union.
That's when you know things are going well.
But we got to talk
Yeah.
about the ending, the big finale, the big where all the movie's heading, and that is like a giant puppet show involving corpses.
And a
Yeah,
crying baby in a carriage that turns into a full human being. I've never
Beautiful.
seen anything crazier.
That was
Oh,
pretty.
dude.
That's
There's
pretty
actually-
scary.
It blew my mind.
There's
a baby
actually
becoming a man. That's fucking scary,
yeah.
dude.
There's actually there's these dudes on TikTok who do that, and they go get free. It says kids eat free, so they made a giant carriage, and then he gets in and it's a full grown ass
Really? That's really
head. Yeah, and they get all these free
gets
meals,
free
and nobody
baby
knows
food?
the difference. No, he gets like pancakes since they go to like IHOP.
And there he's feeding them
Where
in
kids
the
eat free.
stroller or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I guess.
So you're saying you should have made a TikTok instead of a movie?
Mm.
I'm saying I think this movie was way ahead of its time.
Hmm.
And yeah, he'd
In
probably be blowing up
2003
on
or
TikTok.
2017.
The second time, the third time. Yeah,
So-
see, he was so far ahead of his time, he had to stop production and wait a little bit and then restart over again.
So he would be too ahead of his time.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was interesting, like just like The Room, the movie ends with the character blowing their brains out, just like getting so scared. The older brother is so frightened of this puppet show that he just pulls a gun out and
Yeah,
immediately
I
kills
mean-
himself.
Same way too, right? In the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that
Probably
was
just realized there was no other way this movie was going to end.
Somebody's got to shoot themselves in the head for this movie
End
to
of a
end.
slog this one.
Just have your characters shoot themselves in the head at the end of a movie. That's how you end a movie. Damn. Was anybody scared?
Yeah, well, yeah. There was a time I got scared when
Ryan's a scaredy cat with movies.
I told you, dude, with this movie, I was
I know.
laughing, crying, scared. I was questioning. I had to pause it like 45 minutes in, and I was just like, "Oh, what am I doing?" Like I had to. It got me, dude. And I understand
You're
it.
staring at the mirror in your room. just like,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
I'm just snorting
be watching
Adderall, watching this movie at 3 a.m.
Nobody watched it. Yeah, nobody watched it on meth. That's an insight. I feel like one of us should have taken that, responsibility to provide.
So
that
my
perspective.
when I
Takes
was
15 years to
20,
watch.
I lived with my older brother and he was on meth the whole time.
Okay.
And one of the things he did was to get a girl to like him, because a girl said like she like her ex or her boyfriend or whatever just like
This
polished.
is a first
polish his
mistake
floor.
already. There's no girl worth trying to get to like you.
Well, yes, exactly. But this is what he does.
That's your-
Chris. Listen to this.
Focus.
This girl said like, "Oh, my boyfriend just sanded his floors." So my brother is like, "Well, I need money to buy or to rent a sander. I got to sand my floors in my bedroom, I'm like, "No, you're a meth. I don't trust you." So then he took a hand sander, like 4 by 4 inches, and just
Jesus.
for a month, I heard him just like
See, yeah, this is meth shit. This meth guy.
just like
shit.
for a month, and like he just did it. Like
Making a movie 3 times over the course of 15 years, like sanding a
Yeah.
floor by hand.
and then
That
it's that
sounds tight. That's
It's
more
the
than
same
I've done
thing.
in 33 years.
I know. Yeah, it's
So-
not like playing Pokemon and shit on your Nintendo Switch.
Dude, I
That's what you're
would
doing.
when you're on meth,
I
you
would
think you're
destroy
accomplishing a lot. So when he's making this movie, he's like, damn, I'm making this movie so good. I'm doing so much. I'm getting so much done. I'm coloring all the footage. I'm, you know, I have to reshoot it, but
I'm making little ice cubes.
yeah.
He made everyone by hand individually. Pretty cool.
So what do we think is the best scene in the movie? If everybody had to pick their favorite,
The opening was good, I thought. Like, I liked all
the
this parts.
carnival.
Yeah,
in the
I liked all the
desert.
parts that were like nightmare and because those were like packed with weird shit.
He should have
Like
just
stuff you couldn't
stopped
even follow.
there. If he had
Yeah.
just made a dream sequence and it was a short film and submitted it to festivals,
People would
I
thought he
think
was
that
like
would
a
have been the
genius.
best result.
Yeah.
Because I believe he shot that first.
When it stops being just
He
like a
shot it
music
first the
video
first
type-
time.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a Ozfest like band
Commercial.
music video or something like that. Yeah,
I did think, like there was if I was waiting for a clown, some sort of
that would've been
clown to like
scary,
trying to sell a soda or something.
Did you think
Oh,
the
the spy! I
naked lady spider?
no. Oh, that was terror. I'm scared of
Pretty
spiders.
cool.
That was pretty scary
I'm
and
scared of naked
erotic
ladies.
at the same time. So I was confused.
Yeah.
Was when the movie
Is
ended?
that your
Was I
favorite
supposed to be
scene?
horny?
Is that what you're saying?
That hasn't pounded off to Kim
I-
Darby's face on a spider body. I mean,
I
And
know.
a big ass
exactly.
paper mache spider
Guys.
body.
Imagine the possibilities with a body like that. You know what I mean?
Well, did you actually know
I have.
the female spiders
Oh.
eat the male spiders? All of them, all spiders.
Where'd you hear that?
So that scene did actually creep me out because I don't like spiders. And it was
Ryan just brings up facts that he's
The scene
learned
when
from
he's
this
watching
movie in like
TV?
conversation
Or this with
For the-
spiders on it?
for the next week.
with the spiders, the National Geographic show or whatever, and they're just like showing a million different kinds of spiders. Every time it cuts back, it's like a different spider, and they're like all spiders, every single one of them do
Yeah.
this exact thing. Good night. And
He might have because like there's like kind of a cool part where like one of the parts where like the demon guy, Hills Have Eyes guy appears. He's like watching the TV at the spider show and like it
Mhm.
pauses while the spider's looking like directly at the camera and then the demon guy's like behind the TV and they're both kind of looking at him. He might have shot that spider. Like, how do you get footage of a spider looking directly into camera? You know what I mean?
Probably
Probably
took him a
stock
year to do
footage.
it. It's
Yeah, maybe.
It was probably actually just a National
What,
Geographic.
so for
some
that,
public
he's like
access show.
reasonable and like goes through the proper channels and stuff. Just the spider
No,
video.
he actually, I heard for that scene, he went over to Africa and bought the specific spider egg. You have to find
Yeah.
it, brought it back, hatched it after a few months, raised all the little guys, picked the favorite one, and then
The one that
filmed
had the most
one.
star power.
You know,
The
from
most current,
movies,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
can order like they're like insects that are sort of dehydrated that you can then rehydrate and bring back to life.
Oh yeah,
Oh, shit.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Like bees, right?
like bees and ants. I got a bunch of those from Guy Kozak.
You bought a bunch of bees.
Yeah, we got.
That's
He
cool.
we worked. A production designer in a
like,
film I worked on made a lot of movies with insects, and he showed me the service, and so I ordered some insects for that just
Dude.
because I was interested.
They
I wonder
have
what
to
came
do your
first,
bidding.
the
I
movie
think,
making.
if you're
He was
know,
like an art school
reanimating
weirdo.
them.
He was. It's,
He
I
just
think
needed
that
an
the
excuse to
movie-
buy some bees.
Yeah, the movie making was inseparable from the doing weird shit like buying insects.
That seems like kind of a math activity, buying dead bees online.
Nah,
To
he was more.
reanimate.
He was the kind of person whose weird ideas are more interesting than a drug addict's. Most drug addicts' ideas are not that interesting. That's how you end up with a movie like The Evil Within. Whereas if you have
Damn.
someone who's a total
That's a truth
teetotal,
bomb, dude.
total teetotaler, like not teetotaler, but somebody who does no drugs whatsoever, like Louis Spoonwell, makes far stranger movies than this.
The Devil Inside by INXS is a great song because taking drugs when you make music works out really well.
Interesting. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you know the original name of
Fair.
NXS, by the way?
Mm.
No.
Why are you talking about NXS?
all
I'm-
out
I'm
excess.
down to hear.
Dr. Dolphin.
So
Ooh.
let me tell.
You're
That's
like, listen,
fucking.
guys,
Are
we
you
gotta
serious?
serious?
stop being
Chris,
Dr.
I
Dog.
have to know if the guys from Dr. Dog, Chris,
They must.
are
They
aware
must.
of this trivia.
Did I ever tell you about in high school when we were hanging out with a friend of ours, and we were like in his like attic bedroom, and he put on a black light and started dancing to "Slave to Love," and we all were like, "Fucking stop it!" and tackled him. And when it happened, his shirt ripped open, and he had written on his chest in black pen "in excess." Like he didn't know his shirt was going to pop open. He had just written "in excess" on his chest before then.
It's like
And
Mark
so,
Wahlberg.
and the Dr. Dog
So
guys
weird.
were there for that. So I'm sure they know the Dr. Dolphin connection.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's the
Adam
wildest
Schott.
story I've
Adam
ever heard.
Schott, guy was a real piece of shit. I'm glad to tell this story on the air.
Whoa.
In excess written on his shirt.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't want to get
He's
sued.
allegedly a piece
Okay.
of shit.
I don't need a
he was
defamation
a crappy.
lawsuit.
He was a shitty guy, and it was weird. His dad was like famously the nicest teacher in high school. He's like a social studies teacher that everybody loved, and then he had this prissy
Classic.
wiener kid that nobody liked. Or
Damn.
wait, that was way more well liked than me. I got that wrong. Let me get that backwards.
So let me ask. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the scene where he kills the child in the park is the worst scene in the movie and the biggest missed opportunity for making something.
No,
remotely
everything
interesting.
in the ice cream parlor is the worst scene in the movie.
No way.
Anything with the ice cream parlor.
not when he shoots a shot. That was a
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good. That was a pretty good way to shoot your shot.
that's an okay scene.
Of course,
It
it's
was
nice
just-
to see
I've
me.
tried
I'm
it,
Tricking
it doesn't
outlandishly
work.
hot.
woman.
Doesn't work.
Tricking a woman to write a letter. Love letter.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, hey,
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, hey John, you know what it reminded me of? The killing floor, where he has to
Oh,
get the
yeah.
lady on his letter.
Oh yeah, what's the killing?
Those two
floor?
movies would be a perfect double feature.
Killing
little
floor is
plug.
killing
Do a
floor is
little
none of your fucking business. Is what the killing floor
That's
is.
a good. This
Do a
is a
little
good plug. I like this
For your
style.
next step, I
Doing
think that
plugs.
is going to be released publicly the same day as
Yeah.
this episode.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we got an episode on the killing floor. with
Let me ask you.
Marcus
I
Mann.
haven't seen the
Mm.
killing floor. Is
Yeah.
it better than
what
Hoodlum?
is that?
Is it better than what?
Hoodlum.
I'd say same level. They both have their
I was telling
virtues.
Ryan, don't
Yeah,
worry about it.
they both have their virtues.
A lot of similar cast members, I think, between the two, right?
So we did. That's a. They're talking about Bill Duke movies. We did Deep Cover. It's one of
Deep
our
Cover is
classic-
a great movie.
Yeah. So
Which one was deep?
That's
Cover?
the crossover
Yeah.
I'm thinking of. Deep Cover.
Don't worry about it, Ryan.
Jeff
Ones I
Goldblum.
have.
I'm freaking. Oh yeah, sure.
You say Goldblum?
Jeff Goldblum.
It's Jeff Goldblum. How do you say it?
Goldblum.
It's
Bloom.
Blum.
It's you. A U.
It's
a
Jeff
long. It's like a
Goldblum?
long U.
Jeff
It's like Motley
Goldblum?
Crue.
Yeah, like the word Blum.
Yeah.
It's
Like
Jeff
like
Goldblum.
Blumhouse. Jeff
Wait.
Gold Blumhouse Productions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Sorry, John. You're with me. You're saying you're on
No.
my side.
I'm on the Blum side.
Oh,
It's Jeff Goldblum. Have you not
It's not
seen?
two
see the-
O's.
See,
I
this
thought it was
is
like a Motley Crue,
he
like
produces
boom
Jordan
out
Peele's movies.
kind of thing. Yeah.
this is yeah.
Bloomhouse.
This is another case of Adam just seeing the world differently than the rest of us. Poor guy.
I thought it was Jeff Goldblum this whole time. I think it is. I feel like I hear
Adam,
it
what
pronounced
is
Jeff Goldblum.
what is your
This is annoying.
internal monologue voice? Is it as sophisticated as this guy's?
Well, I'm the smart one, so it would have to be the like.
It's like slurs in your head.
yeah. I don't know which one is better, actually. Me being special
So-
needs.
All right.
You
All
all right?
right. Hold on. Let's get back on
Okay.
track, guys.
I got a remake for this movie. I got a reboot for you.
Oh yeah. Let's hear
A-
this.
and it's gonna be Medea. Who's that? Taylor Perry? Tyler Perry?
Taylor. It's Peary.
Tyler Perry. Taylor Perry. Well, so you've heard the saying like I'm gonna slap the black off of you. You guys have heard that?
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
this is it's
Been
an
told
all
that many
black,
times.
it's like an all black Tyler Perry remake of this movie. And instead of the kid becoming mentally handicapped from getting hit down the stairs, he becomes white. And so he has to be white.
Wow. This is
in
like a Jordan
all,
Peele movie. This is
all black
like-
household. And that's his, yeah.
It sounded
Is-
exactly like a joke.
Cool movie. That's a cool idea, Ryan. You're like the rich lady who's making Chris
Huh?
write a script, scribing these out crazy things, and then you're like, and then she goes and buys curtains.
You know-
because I bought curtains.
And they're
Is-
out at dinner.
Is
Yeah.
Us
Yeah.
better than this movie? Is Us?
Oh,
I never
Us is
saw.
so
I mean,
weird.
it's just as insane,
No
right? It's
spoils.
kind of.
No spoils.
It's just a
It's just-
crazy movie. It's very weird.
I guess Us is better.
Us.
Well, it's not made by somebody
Us,
on that.
us suffers from the same problem of not having an idea. Like Us doesn't know what it's about in the same way that Evil Within doesn't know what it's about. It kind of can't get its mind straight about what the fuck, about why it's doing this and why it wants to exist.
Yeah.
It's got like a big black hole in the middle of it in the same way that this movie does.
But if you're like, if you're like super methed out and you're, it's like you're trying, like it's about being on meth. This movie.
It's
You
about
know?
drive, right? It's about hunger.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
about
It's not
Sticking
even
with
about
it.
that. I wish it was. I think the movie is about a
About seeing your
man-child.
crush with boobs on her back crawling after you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was another one. So at first I was like, no, he killed the guy in the stall. See, this is where my emotions hit me. This is one of the scenes. He kills this guy and he goes, didn't even have to convince me to do that. I just did that on my own. And I was like, this dude finally broke bad, all the way bad. And then so I was like kind
You're
of
going back.
disappointed in
You're
I was
shaking your
I was
head.
feeling heavy disappointment in the character, in the main character. I was just very disappointed in him. And then he opens the door and
Well,
then I'm like, okay. Some
The
back
other thing
titties.
is, a horror movie doesn't have to make sense. It can get by.
So
if
I
it
was all
has-
over the place emotionally.
Mm.
a horror movie can work if it just has a strong enough tone. Like,
The scenes,
he
the nightmare scenes do have a,
Yeah.
something.
That sleep paralysis stuff is no joke.
It's
but
yeah,
it
that's
gets
like it's-
goofy. It gets very goofy with the visual effects. It becomes very laborious. It becomes very.
Yeah.
Sure.
It just like falls apart once it gets too complicated. If you had just made a simple. I mean, whatever. Who cares? I mean, it's fucking dumb. It's not like
Guy's dead. Why
I
are
was
we
listening to
talking
the
about
podcast with Fred Kohler, and he was like, "Now, did you think it was a dream at the end? What did you think was going on?" And I was just thinking, like, God, it's so sad. He actually is putting thought into this because he's working on it. And for him, it's like Solaris. It's like this mysterious enigma that can maybe be cracked if you just, think about it enough. But
I
it's just
do
a
have
dumb-
respect for committing to something 100% if you're working on it, even if it's
true.
schlock.
He's a
You know?
professional.
Yes.
And it was
Get on that
supernatural,
grate.
right? Like he was actually possessed. He
Ryan,
did
you're
actually
falling
have
into
like
the trap.
superpowers.
You're falling into the trap that William was just talking about.
Because I mean, he's picking up
But you know
bodies.
what? True.
And he when he
true.
flips out of the vent in the ice cream,
Yeah, it was Matrix
Chop.
shit, dude.
that was tight.
That was awesome.
I think he should have just aimed to make a nice Cinemax level movie. Like,
Did you guys see the house that Jack built, the Lars von Trier movie?
Yes.
About the
No.
serial killer. This movie, I feel like a successful version of this movie is the house that Jack built.
That's a
Is like what he wants to do in terms of shockingness and violence and the sort of about the interior problems the guy's having. But at the end of the day, House That Jack Built isn't a great fucking movie, even though it's a billion times better and more coherent than this movie. And even though it wants to be about the same things about interior spaces and metaphysical spaces and emotional and psychological life of amoral people and that sort of thing, and killing kids and freezing their bodies. But it's
Right.
but
Well,
even
I mean, yeah, you're
You're
not gonna
making
let it
art
rot.
out of corpses, which is what he does at the end of the house that
Yeah.
Jack built.
Oh,
And
and
all it took,
this
and all
movie-
it took was a little bit of elbow grease and 3 taxidermy DVDs from the public
the
library.
The library, yeah.
You
Audiobooks,
master.
right?
Yeah.
No, they
there
call
was
them
no how to read.
cassettes. They call them all sorts of things, but they're clearly DVD cases, right?
CD-ROMs.
I like how that seems to be, to me, as a screenwriter, it's clear at some point like it was supposed to be books from the library and then at some point was like, wait, this guy can't fucking read. What is
Yeah.
our whole plot hinges on something that makes no sense. What is it? It'll be audiobooks. He'll be listening to audiobooks.
Chuck's audiobooks.
It's amazing. Yeah, I was like at the end when he captures Dina Meyer, is that her name?
Mhm.
So he captures her and like chases her and stabs her, and then he like
Oh yeah,
drills a
a
hole
whole
in her
hole in her
head.
head.
and then fills
Oh,
it with
God.
fire extinguisher stuff.
Figured
I was like,
out.
I like glanced at my phone for a second when he was like drilling the hole, so I didn't see that. And then he was like, he put the fire extinguisher up to the back of her head and was just like, blah. And I was like, what the? Why is she acting so weird? I like
Which emotion did that bring out in you, Ryan? That's
Oh
Yeah.
my God. So that was just like, I was angry. I really
It's
wanted
twice-
her to get out. I was angry. I was like, I thought she was going to make it. She finally was like, you can do whatever you want. I love you. I'll move in with you, even though you're stinky.
shouldn't
And he
misuse
goes-
fire extinguishers too.
And goes and blows her brains out and goes gazoon tight. And then I was back. I laughed. He goes gazoon tight. And I was like, he did not. This guy's crazy.
She really is excited to rush and get him from the house for some reason. And that's in there.
Yeah. And then she immediately
can't
runs
wait.
Oh, yeah.
downstairs and he immediately runs upstairs. Like,
There's some
no
really
sense of
funny
urgency.
things where she's like, there's some really funny like frank dialogue about him being like special needs or whatever, like from her, where the brother's like, I thought you said you wanted to live and have a kid and stuff. And she's like, yeah, I want to have a kid. I don't want to have a 30-year-old guy that's jacking off all the time. and
Yeah.
shit. I was like, this movie is amazing. That was a good
Even
line.
the stuff the demon like he had to say to himself was pretty funny. Some of those when he's like, I'll just kill myself and you can't do it. And he's like, well, then I'll just find another retard to possess. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I could
Yeah.
not imagine acting that.
That's that
thought
Tarantino kind of dialogue where they go
Mhm.
there. They say the R word.
Yeah.
They're not afraid. They,
When
How
he
does this
wrote
movie-
this
this
script,
movie take
it wasn't something you weren't allowed to say back in 2002. When they wrote the script, it was still permissible.
Yeah.
yeah, but for his social
I said the R
class,
word on this
it was a
one.
taboo. He went
Yeah,
there.
it's not okay.
For his social class.
Yes.
Just
of
doing
course.
meth on a
Oil
guy.
At the
Barrett.
balls. At all the balls.
I just love that J. Paul Getty just had such a failure of a grandson.
This is
I
what
mean,
rich kids like become, I feel like.
it's
They
just
feel
so
like this is what's
crazy.
normal.
It's not that crazy.
But like to think, like if you go to the Getty Museum and in every little shop, they have his autobiography, and he just acts like he's so successful, he's so smart, he made all these great decisions, and it's just like you're just a horrible father that like
Yeah.
clearly
Those
was
guys are
like
always
a
bad dads.
nightmare for all of your children.
Wouldn't pay the ransom to get his grandson back.
Yeah, he said if I pay that
That's a
ransom,
alleged
then
piece of shit.
I'll have 14 kidnapped grandchildren.
Mm.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, and then he negotiated the price down when he finally paid the ransom.
Like
Damn.
multiple
So-
times, right?
Yeah.
Really? He like was nickel and diming.
Haggling.
That's cool.
I mean, a
Um,
grandson. I get it.
And then for his fortune to be wasted that way, and like to make this
Wasted?
movie,
Shameful.
it's pretty awesome.
I thought it was beautiful.
It is. I
So
like
what's-
the oh no. Well, I was gonna talk about a different thing, but I like I guess I'll
like,
finish talking about it. I like the
Neapolitan
guy,
ice creams.
you know, like this in the mirror stuff where the demon guy is at the center of the infinite mirror thing.
And he keeps
Yeah.
getting closer.
That kind of stuff is cool. It's cool to think
Yeah.
about.
I think I would like the movie more if it had been Robert Zadar instead of Michael Berryman.
Who's that?
He was still alive back then. Robert Zadar from
Who's that from
Maniac
again,
Cop.
He's a
Oh,
very
okay, okay.
large chin, right? He's like a
Oh,
giant,
Gigantic
Oh.
chin.
Yep.
Yes.
like
does
giant
sound scary.
bones in his chin.
That sounds
Basically,
really
for a part
scary.
like this, you're going to get Michael Berryman or Robert Zadar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Michael Berryman died halfway through the shoot. That's why he stops appearing in the movie.
No, Michael Berryman's alive.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
What?
Oh man.
He just told Andrew Getty that he died.
He's telling people, yeah, he's like, I can't make it for the rest of the the
Tell
next
him I'm
5 years
dead.
of shooting.
A third
So
time
Michael
we're making
Berryman
this.
turned down his first
Jesus Christ, my
reshoot.
schedule's 5 years long.
I guess. But he
And
just stopped showing
made
up
them
in the
show
movie.
them footage from Hills Have Eyes Part 2 where he gets knocked off the cliff by a dog. Oh no.
Oh
What are
wow.
we gonna do now?
But I think that's
Oh,
cool.
it's-
Then that means Michael Berryman was just like, well, I'm not doing this anymore. Fuck
Yeah,
this
yeah.
movie. I'm not reshooting this shit again.
It's also like The Room. Somebody quit during The Room.
Plus he's painted gray and he's naked wearing like
It looks
Like-
like a nightmare.
latex underwear or something.
Oh, this movie's
He
kind of
spends like 8 hours a day getting into makeup just
it's-
for this movie.
isn't. Yeah, it's like The Grinch, Jim Carrey and The Grinch.
Yeah.
It's it's also Hellraiser-y, right?
I mean, they're
Enough Cenobites for me.
I mean, he's killing to like feed his.
Well, that's a David
demon or
Berkowitz
whatever.
thing. That was his big.
Okay.
That's another inspiration. But
Right, it's not like Hellraiser.
You know how so if that were
Same.
true,
he's
the
not.
more
If he wanted
people
to have
you
sex
kill-
with Michael Berryman, it would be like Hellraiser. If he was killing to have sex with him.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
more nipple pitching I think would be required for this to be a Hellraiser movie.
Mm.
Some
He's got the
chains.
nips
That would've-
to do it.
that would have
this
been
guy.
an interesting take in this movie if him and his demon like fell in love. Like it became just like a really
I
beautiful
thought
romance.
that's where it was going.
Mm.
And it's not even scary.
It's
just
like
like,
so, and it's like the mentally challenged can find love too.
Yeah, with
You know.
sleep paralysis demons.
Yeah. So that's cool.
So what do we say the message of the movie is? What did we learn from this tale?
Don't do drugs.
Hmm.
Yeah, this movie should have "Don't do meth" at the like.
No,
the
that's
end of
never the answer.
before the credits. Oh man,
Moral of the story. There's so many. Life
Um,
is complicated. You never know what's going on inside someone's head, you know. So just treat others with respect.
Yeah.
Unless they're big, tall guys, then go harass them while they're eating.
Be nice to your baby bro because they'll get their revenge. That's what I learned.
honestly, yeah, like I think the movie is saying that like the mentally challenged might secretly be evil. So just like
I don't think
You know,
it's a
be
good
careful.
look,
Be
that's
nice.
for sure.
Tread lightly.
yeah, just treat them good. You know.
That's just a good lesson for anyone. They could be
It,
evil. So
it really has me rethinking the Zodiac killer.
You know who it is now?
I'm going to start looking at people with Down syndrome a lot differently.
All right.
I'm
Did you
like,
do it? Admit it.
it's-
Just walk up to a guy at fucking Kmart.
I'm just a little more suspicious now.
Oh, you thought you could get away with it. Got him. Come arrest this man.
Real unusual suspect.
Yes.
that's
situation.
what a cop was like 50 years ago. Though.
Yeah.
That's just what they did. They just would arrest those people.
Oh,
and
It's
just
called
blame
detective
them.
work.
Speaking of
William.
cops, isn't that twin play the cop in this movie? He's the
Yeah, the
twin
Scalacci brothers, right?
Sklar brother,
Sklar brothers.
Oh yeah, I was like, that's a motherfucker. I saw that guy at
It's
Trader
the-
Joe's one time,
the Kalachi brothers.
or it could have been the other guy, but
You're a comedian, Ryan.
Yeah,
the
but they're
Kalachi
twins. I don't know, man.
brothers. That's like more like an acrobat like group of siblings.
The
I think.
Kalachi, but
Yeah.
Pretzel
Ah.
boys.
Anyway,
One thing I was interested is like, you know, since the Pink Smoke doesn't give ratings with stars, they think that's stupid
embarrassing and stupid. Yeah, I just
and a bad way to
Just
talk
for the
about
record.
art, apparently.
Oh, okay. I'm more just embarrassed to say
We could
a
do a
rating
scale
at the
1
end
to
of our
10.
stupid podcast.
I think it's great. It tells you how good a movie is very easily. But what are other movies that a director like one and done movies by directors like Night of the Hunter is obviously the best example.
Oh.
It's like this
Nothing
Director
but
of
trouble.
one
is the
movie.
Best of all
He
time.
also, but Charles Lawton also ghost directed Man in the Eiffel Tower, so he's not even technically one and done.
The man who got Eiffel Towered. The Kalachi brothers present.
Only
Oh,
twins can make
God,
that
it's so
movie.
close to me.
Only twins. In a wacky adventure. The Kalachi brothers.
But clearly, the best one is Dan Aykroyd's
Man
Nothing
who
But
got
Trouble.
Tower.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a great one because that's extremely ambitious also and a tonal delight.
Cabin Boy, great movie.
Cabin Boys a one and done.
Absolutely.
Damn. I watched that recently. I watched that after my son was born, and it helped give me some.
You just
tips.
immediately start watching TV right after you're like ignoring your kid right out of the gate.
I had a lot of like long naps that were like movie length naps, so I was doing movie stuff. But that movie is all about like
About growing up.
why you have to like lose your virginity.
Why you have to? I
Yeah,
haven't
like,
yet.
as
and
soon as
I'm doing
possible.
fine. Oh, I thought there was like
Oh,
a
very
medical
good.
Boy,
reason.
Laserdisc,
Oh.
dude.
Hell yeah,
Nice.
that's the proper format for that. movie.
$6.95.
Very nice.
You
Bargain.
paid $695 for that.
Bargain.
695,000, Ryan.
Holy shit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not do that ratings because it's
Why not, dude? For me, this is 2.5 stars. This is
Oh,
right down
what?
the middle. This was on cable. I would definitely watch it, but I can't recommend anyone else watch it because it's.
I'm probably gonna watch it again tonight.
I want to watch it with like the meth context.
You want to do?
Like I
math
want to be
together and watch
chilled
it,
by.
Evan?
I want to be. I didn't expect to be chilled by the movie really, but by the knowledge that it was made by a guy in like the throes. Of meth
we also need to
addiction.
mention the guy died by bleeding from his own anus. Like he just.
Oh my god, that's
did
gonna be
so
how
many-
what I
lead,
died
William.
from.
He refused to go to the hospital and he just
Yeah.
bled himself and died.
Why? Is that what math does?
No.
What was he? I guess when you only eat cereal and meth.
Yeah. Damn.
But
Pringles. Pringles will make you bleed from the.
Oh yeah,
rectum.
that's true, right? Let's go Alestra or something.
Trust me, I still eat them though. I don't give a shit.
I'll give a
Good for
star
you.
rating. Out of how many stars? What's
5.
enough? 5 stars for me.
Damn.
I go
Hell
4.5.
yeah, bro.
We're talking
was-
about
it
Cabin
was-
Boy, right?
It was truly entertaining
Damn.
though. Like it was stupid, obviously, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, they should just cut out all the
It's better than the
lunch
room.
scenes. All the scenes.
It's,
at
yeah,
lunch.
it's a lot more watchable than The Room.
For
Well,
me,
the
the
room
ultimate
is-
message was Devil Inside. The Devil Inside. Every single one of us.
Oh.
The devil inside.
Yes. Oh, it's about society.
Right,
So don't
bingo.
piss me
Holy shit,
off.
dude. Yeah.
Why are you talking about NXS so much? Did I not watch the movie closely enough? What's its relationship to NXS?
Oh, they did the score
Score is
for
not
this
good.
whole
Yeah.
movie, right?
Would Michael Hutchins still have been alive at that point?
No.
Then he definitely did.
You know who's NXS was Andrew Getty when he made this movie.
He was
On
in
meth.
excess
You know,
of the amount of drugs he should be
excessive
taking.
meth. Yeah.
But speaking of original titles, this was called The Storyteller originally. Do we know that?
Yes.
Is that
That's
true?
the original title.
That was what they
What?
called it during the shoot.
They waited till he died to change it to like
Yeah.
a good one. That people feel like, okay,
The
so now that he's
storyteller?
dead,
That doesn't even make any sense.
Storyteller.
Oh, because the intro? Because he's like narrates the whole
It
time.
Yeah,
dreams a
yeah.
story you tell yourself, but
but really it's only at the front and the back. It's like Batman. It's like the new Batman movie.
Oh, I thought that whole dream speech was absolutely beautiful.
when he goes on
Okay.
the little,
Storytelling.
the little roller coaster with his mom.
No, when he was talking about somebody else is writing my dreams. Like,
Mm.
so if they're my dreams, I'm the one writing them, right? Which I
Yeah.
always, yeah.
Oh yes. Damn. Yeah, I mean, do you think Andrew Getty
Beautiful.
heard voices?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's like
My brother
schizophrenia.
did.
Oh,
So
that's
I
a meth
assume-
thing?
Yeah. So I assume he
Wow.
did.
Where you're
My
like
brother's clean
puncturing
and sober
holes in your
now,
brain,
But
right?
What's up?
my
You,
brother's
like,
clean
lose
and sober
chunks of your
now.
brain. Oh.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
I heard the brain thing. I was more interested in the brain thing than
lots of
I heard
drugs do that,
sober,
Ryan.
and that was yeah.
This
So,
is your brain. Drills a hole in the back of your head. Drills a hole in the bottom of your head. Sticks the fire extinguisher up there. This is your brain on drugs. I probably wouldn't have done drugs if that would have been it.
Yeah. I want to like scare kids straight with this movie to not do math. I want to like take it to middle schools and
They should show it at film school.
wheel it in.
Some
Yes,
Stan Brackage
amen.
is the act of seeing through one's own eyes.
Yes.
Well, I think if you're gonna push a kid down the stairs, make sure it's a bigger stair set.
finish the job. Make sure you do. Make sure you
Yeah, if you're gonna,
do it right.
if you like, maim your little brother, just kill him.
That's what
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't
Don't
half-ass that
half-ass this
shit.
shit.
I would be pissed. I'd be pissed too. Honestly,
Jinx.
I get why the guy was pissed.
Yeah, he was a prodigy.
I mean,
I get why the guy was pissed.
it doesn't necessarily
like
make him evil.
Prodigy
know?
at 6, and then he lost all of that.
It
He's
made
got
me think
issues.
that Andrew Getty's like a narcissist. Like there's that like aspect to him, like, oh, I could have
Mhm.
been
Yeah.
so good if I just if my dad was nicer, or
Yeah.
yada yada yada. Like it felt like that was something.
My parents were richer. I could have done something with my life.
Yeah, what
Or why
happened to
this
the
movie felt
parents?
like-
His
They just
parents?
left?
In
No,
this
in the
movie, they don't even
movie.
talk about him, and you'd think they would be in there considering how overbearing his parents were.
Maybe that's why they're not, honestly. Maybe he had like a weird like blackout version part of that, like when he was trying to think, because he's like, I don't want to fucking think about my
I bet he
stupid
just
dad. I hate you, dad. Fucking oil billionaire or
He
whatever.
did a
may-
giant-
he's
He did
just
a
maybe
race
he
car
saw-
bed.
Maybe he saw Dr. Giggles and thought this has been tread already. They've already figured this out.
just mumbling
Bad
all that
parenting.
shit to himself while he's making little ice cubes for like 6 hours.
This will show
Fucking
my
dad,
dad.
you
I fucking
fucking-
hate my
You
dad.
fucking get
I'm not
me.
going to dig out my Dr. Giggles comic book.
You say that.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, it's from Dark Horse Presents.
Wow.
So Dark Horse, they had a real
Dr.
run at it.
Giggles?
That's
I
also,
was-
that sounds like an Ozfest band.
Dr. Giggle. You never seen Dr. Giggles?
I guess I don't know what it is.
Wow, this is shocking. Dr. Giggles has been
Might be a one
forgotten.
and done. I'll have to look it up.
Oh dang. I mean, Dr.
Nope,
Giggles would be
Dr.
a lot.
Goggles.
No, you're almost there, Ryan. Really
Nah,
close.
I give up.
Oh, you're so close. Next time,
So
buddy.
his thing was he would kill people and he was a doctor and he would giggle.
That sounds pretty scary.
Like tee
Yeah.
I like the Michael Jackson.
Not he. I
That's
said
scary.
tee
That would be scary. What do you guys think is a movie that's really scary? I'm tired of fucking
Oh.
seeing. I wanted to be scared by this movie, and I kind
Mars
of was like
Attacks.
chilled or like unsettled by the methiness of it, but not Ryan. Ryan's scared of like everything.
Mars Attacks, dude. When that lady walks in, like and just comes walking in when dressed up like a lady, her big ass hair,
Mm.
frightening.
Anybody want to say a movie that think is actually scary?
Nothing but trouble. Dan Aykroyd's
Okay,
nothing but
got it.
trouble.
Okay, these are too great.
He plays a giant baby with a diaper in that movie.
Whoa,
It's-
yeah.
Have you seen that, Adam?
That does sound scary.
With the
I
train,
don't
the
think
hot
I've seen
dog
it.
scene and the train, the dinner table.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
the
that Nick
giant
Nolte
wiener.
and Julia Roberts? No, that's I Love Trouble. We're off.
That's all.
on
That
a
movie's
thing right
also
now.
very scary.
Oh yes, Nothing But Trouble. And Dan Aykroyd plays a like old man.
Yeah,
With a
that
penis
was
nose. That's great.
part of the supernatural comedy
this.
boom of the 80s.
Mm.
Tupac's first verse, I believe, is on the Digital Underground song.
Yeah,
Bucks in the
Digital
movie.
Underground is also in the movie. Yeah, a scary movie. I mean, you've seen them all, Adam.
Oh
There's only like 4 scary movies.
yeah. Well, name them.
Inside Job,
Go.
Mars Attacks,
Rush Hour 3. 'Cause
Planet
you're
Earth.
scared that it's going to end. You know, you just know the trilogy's ending, so that's what's scary about.
Fast,
Rush Hour 3.
Fast 3,
Let's end this.
Fast 2, and the
You know what?
new
Another
Fast one was
movie.
pretty freaky.
Another movie that this reminded me of was The Pit, about
Oh yeah.
because that kid. It's about a kid with autism, and he starts killing people by feeding them to these monsters in a pit in his backyard. And this actually, when I saw it as a child, was one of the scariest movies I'd ever seen, because at the end of the movie, he gets pushed into the pit and it like freeze frames. And when I was 8 and he was 8, the idea of like a kid being killed like was very scary. But
The movie ends with the freeze frame of that.
yeah,
So maybe he got
that would
out
be
of it.
Shocking.
Maybe his
remember
toes
getting-
were still on the
Maybe.
ground.
Yeah, yeah. It's like The Wrestler. I remember seeing the Gate on TV randomly when I was a kid, and as soon as I saw switched to it, it was the part where Steven Dorff has an eye in the palm of his hand, and it like opens, and he's like, and he like takes a knife and stabs it, and that was kind of like
Glass, right?
oh,
Yeah.
Glass, yeah. That was it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I think when you're an adult, movies aren't scary anymore.
Damn.
Unless you're
Back in me.
Scared.
I get scared. I get different kind of scares though. Like if I'm really attached to a character, like Mac and me, when the parents are like getting shot at by the cops and stuff at the end, it's scary.
Well, the only thing that's become scary is a movie like there's an HBO movie from the 90s called Citizen X about the most prolific Russian serial killer. And I watched it with my father. And then the next day I had to fly back to California. And he was like, I can't let you fly alone. I got to get like a guy on the plane to like make sure I like hit every what's it called?
Like a chaperone.
I had to get a chaperone for the when you switch flights.
Layover.
Like
Layover.
Layover, yeah. So I had like every time I
That was
landed,
pretty close. The rest of us had no idea
Yeah,
for some reason.
every time I landed, like a guy would
William's
be like,
rich. He
"Hello."
just takes a private plane everywhere.
Yeah.
Probably.
William is a Getty.
And he doesn't know money. You're right, dude. William doesn't know how he's rich. He's
two
just living-
layovers, by the way.
And you're like,
So-
fuck you, Dad. This sucks.
Yeah.
But I think
had a
that's
rich
the
dad.
scariest kind of
Really
movie.
rich dad.
So now that you're a dad, Adam, you can watch movies about children
Kidnapping.
being murdered,
That's gonna.
and that'll
I feel
chill
like that's
you.
gonna hit a little different now that I have a baby. Now that I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it. I feel like I might.
So there you go. That's the scariest
so
movie you can
flippantly.
watch.
Chris and I could talk
Right.
another hour about Chikatilo if you wanted to. We're big researchers into that whole case.
He got
Because most of his
rail-
murders probably were not committed by him.
Yeah, he got railroaded. They pinned. There was like 50 murders or whatever, and only like 4 of them seemed like it was him.
What are you talking about? This is the
Talking about
Russian
Citizen X.
police, the Soviet police. They don't make mistakes.
There's all this
Was
stuff.
he
like
was he
but,
mentally
the,
handicapped?
No, he was just like a creepy old guy who made like his own like
That's kind of its own
like
kind of mental
murder
handicap.
teeth. He would make like teeth made out of like rusted
Being old.
nails and teeth like teeth sets to bite people with. He was like a bite fetishist, so he had like teeth made out of broken
Oh yeah, I
glass
heard about this guy.
and teeth made out of like rusty nails and stuff. But a bunch of them, it's like the semen was not his at all. Like the blood types weren't even right.
Well,
know?
I've got plenty of different kinds of semens in my closet right now and blood. So that could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
So let's do some letter writing. Let's get this guy out of jail. How's he doing right now?
He did the 3 or 4 of them, but it was clearly the Soviet police just wanted to be like, we got the guy, it's over.
We solved the case.
And also after he was in prison, the murders continued. The train station murders also continued, but they
wouldn't expect
suppressed it at the time.
Yeah.
That's chilling.
Wow.
I wouldn't expect
Yeah.
that in the Soviet.
Chilling.
The HBO movie doesn't have any of that, huh? I don't think so.
Generally,
Not
people
really.
who talk about the case, it's not a super popular opinion that there was a serial killer who was just kind of let go because the police wanted to make it seem like shit wasn't going down. He's also one of those guys like Henry Lee Lucas that when he tells the stories of the murders he didn't commit, the stories are completely fucking moronic sounding of like how he committed the murders that he made up are just like
Like
I mean,
what?
but
like how
okay,
stuff?
but would you believe like Evil Within, if that kid told you all the ways he killed these people, would you believe him?
it's
Like, a demon
basically
came out of the wall and
Exactly. Chikatilo sounds like the kid from
Mm.
this movie. Like if you were to describe this movie, that's what his
That way.
story sounds like.
Like it jumped out of the vent on top of her at the ice cream.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did a really cool
Well,
Matrix
first I
thing.
had to write a
nobody
letter.
would believe that.
Jumped out of a
Yeah,
baby
see?
carriage.
Yeah.
And I think the letter said
probably was
something about slobbing. Nah, I was like, I,
You a slob
Susie
my
of sound
dog.
mind and body, am about to go down on this dude. Slob his knob. Let him get all jiggly with my little jigglies.
And she's like, wait a minute.
And she, yeah,
After the
she's like
second
all those.
jiggly.
She's like, wait a minute. Is jiggly 2 J's or 2 G's?
I give it a
J's.
2.5. Too.
Is there 2 J's in jiggly?
Gotta get my rating in.
2.5.
What's your rating, Adam?
That's a good rating.
Yeah.
2.5. Very committed.
I always have
Just
the
like me,
exact
right
same
down the
thing.
middle. Hey, you know,
Well,
it's,
it's one of those movies where it's like, yeah, it's like it's really fun to watch and fascinating in a certain way, but it's also like completely indefensible in terms of how bad it is and stuff. So
yeah. If you've,
like
I
a
was thinking like
split
this.
rating. Split to
If
it.
you've
2.5.
seen every horror movie and you're just a loser who likes to watch movies like me, then yeah, watch it. But if you're like an intelligent person who has not a lot of time on their hands, or like, you know, you're busy, don't watch this.
I say watch it on a first date
Mhm.
and watch it. Don't start hooking up. Like make sure both parties watch the whole movie.
Like the woman's trying to kiss you and you're like, stop.
I'm like, stop. I need you to see this.
Yeah. Mentally challenged guy.
God,
saying
you're
something.
acting like a real you're acting like a real female spider right now. Just get off my
Girl,
neck.
If she stays for the whole movie, then there's a second date. If she leaves,
That's how you know
it wasn't meant to be.
she's the one. It's like a Bronx Tale. It's like you're telling this to like a young Italian kid.
Yeah.
You know,
Jazz
she
Palminteri.
stays if she gets into it and it's like, hey, that was pretty good. She's the one.
She's the one.
Jazz Palminteri instead of Michael Berryman for this movie. I'll accept
Yeah.
that.
If she pauses the movie when you get up to go to the bathroom, she's the one.
Yeah, totally. That is a good sign, honestly. I feel like that's more of a guy move.
If she
Seems
comes
like-
over after you said I've seen this movie 6 times and still pauses it in between so you can take a bathroom break.
Pauses your TV, over familiarized. Kick her out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
that's true.
shit. It's
Yeah.
voice command too. Just taking over all the
Damn.
Googles.
This could have been a dating advice and movie podcast the whole time. And I just realized that now.
I've been trying to say, I'll teach you guys how to date.
You have a lot of advice. A lot of advice.
I've
to give.
got a lot of advice. Adam comes to me all the time for wedding advice, wedding advice, marriage advice.
Marriage advice.
I call my marriage a wedding, like a lifelong wedding. So
It's
it's
the
very
party
sweet.
never stops.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, Ryan, you're not wearing any of your scarves and your big top hat and shit.
Hmm?
Because you're like a pickup artist kind of guy.
All
right,
See, Adam sees
so-
the world and
Ending on a
says,
high note.
Drove myself to the ER this week. Things are great.
that's how you think of
Everything's
pickup
fine.
artists.
They
There's
wear
an
a lot
old
of
timey
scarves and
gentleman and top
It's
hats.
important that the
Adam's
Pink
watching The
Smoke
Gilded
watches
Age,
me
just
bomb.
like, look at all these
On the
pickup
podcast.
artists.
Look at all these.
Got a Getty sense of what a pickup artist is.
yes. Oh man.
Oh,
Hey guys,
Lord.
thanks for doing our little podcast.
Our
you
little
know.
experiment we got going here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
hope you
everything's
enjoyed the
fair
movie.
enough.
Enjoyed talking about it.
That was a real treat.
Now you got a book to go write, don't you? Something about, and what is the name of the book? Lonely Happiness or whatever.
Talking to
The
who?
guy that-
Who are you talking to?
What are you talking
The
about?
guy. Oh, sorry, John.
Mhm.
Well, you said it earlier.
Got it.
The
You were right.
author
Writing a
of the
book.
book, who he looks like.
Oh,
Who said it?
David Foster Wallace.
Gotta
go right into the
God,
chest.
Damn, that's a hell of a callback.
that hurt.
You got to
Oh,
finish
man.
The Pale King.
You're
or
clearly a
whatever it's
reader,
called.
Ryan.
That hurt.
You have
You
the
know, the
mental
main-
like power of somebody who
you
reads a
know.
lot. You could tell.
Similar,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
similar character to Andrew Getty in some ways. Great
David Foster
artist.
Wallace.
Tragic
I know.
artist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm actually working on a biography of In Excess. That's what I'm doing right now.
We can tell.
That's what I'll get back
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. That's cool.
Midnight Oil was the band who suggested the name. The guy from Midnight Oil.
You know what would have been awesome is if you took your shirt off.
Is
and
that-
you had
wait,
In
John,
Excess
is that
on underneath
true?
it.
Yeah,
would've
their
been
fellow
fun.
Aussie band.
In Excess was
Wait, we're talking about
Australian.
Australians?
Yes.
Yes,
Hold
I
on.
knew that.
Huh.
Shit.
they would
I
play
know
Ozfest.
nothing about In
Sure,
Excess.
They were still around.
I didn't know we were talking about Australians.
Uh,
I got
Lots
a
of
lot
great
to
Australian
say.
bands.
I try to make the podcast I'm on educational as much as I can.
I appreciate
Adam is
it.
just having his own conversation.
That's what I did. I've been trying. I'm trying to not talk,
The fuck is that?
Too much. but it just keeps happening.
Here come the woman with a look in her eye. Wrist on leather with flesh on the mind. Words, weapons, sharpen knives, makes you wonder how the other half died. Other half died. Makes you wonder, wonder. Well, here come the man with a look in his eye. It's fed on nothing but full of pride. Look at him go, look at him kick. Makes you wonder how the other half live. Devil inside, every single one of us.